bright and early, going to the airport, very small regional airport. Today is my third or fourth flight lesson, but it's the first one that involves an actual flight. We haven't gone up in the plane since the Discovery flight that Heather and I went on back in June. So today pretty much just redoes everything that we did last week in the simulator, but this time for real in the sky. And so that includes like all the pre-flight checking of the airplane inside and out. I get to fly a Cessna 172, which is basically like the most common plane to learn in, but it's just a really good, stable airplane. But the part where I'm really lucky is the plane's only barely a year old, and it has like fully modern cockpit with electronics and all this really just awesome stuff to learn. Then I should get to do some like taxiing maneuvers, because if you don't know, you drive a plane on the ground with your feet, not with your hands. If you turn the yoke, it doesn't actually do anything. And so you have to get used to driving with your feet and then steering like in or away from the wind. So it's a little like patting your head and rubbing your stomach. Maybe my drumming will help with that. And then once my instructor takes off and gets us where we need to go, we're just gonna start some like basic maneuvers, things like turns and flying straight and level. I'm nervous, but I think I'm a healthy amount of nervous, because you should be nervous to take it seriously. But I'm very happy with how excited I am. So I only have my GoPro and my phone. I'm not like bringing a bunch of cameras or anything, because I don't know how much I'll be able to film. The last thing I would want to do is be distracted or paying attention to something else. So we'll see how much footage you get of this, but at the very least I can give updates when it's all done. Look at this, there's not a cloud in the sky. Okay, so while it's all fresh in my mind, I'll do my debrief, because we did a briefing before the flight, which included 85 pages of weather and stuff. That was actually really cool. I like checklists. Then we did the pre-flight check for ourselves, for all that stuff, but also for the plane. So got to go in the hangar, actually like you go around, like touch the plane and move the plane around, literally pull the plane out of the hangar. And then it was everything that I thought. But the crazy part is a lot of it is stuff that would have been very, very scary not that long ago. I know I'm very sweaty. There's no air conditioning in those things. But because we did simulator sessions before, it wasn't scary. So even things like engaging the flaps in a way that made the nose go way, way, way up, and then you just kind of sit there and wait for the plane to go back down and stabilize. Like, learning more about the plane and how it works helps you to know what to expect when certain things happen. You feel things, but it's not scary. Whereas there have been times where I've been on a commercial flight and it hits a bump and I'm like clawing the armrest because it's so freaky. The part where I got the most nervous both times that I've flown now is getting into the plane and just realizing how tiny the plane is. Much smaller than, like, you know, I'm in the back of my car right now. It's much smaller than this by quite a bit. And that just feels a little claustrophobic at first, but then that seems to quickly go away. And it's just a ton of fun. My feet are sore from figuring out like rudder position, and I love the like obsessive emphasis on safety and process and procedure. Going back to what I said before, like the first time I flew, even if you're not someone who's really thinking about getting a pilot's license, if you can, just doing a Discovery flight, which pretty much any flight school at any airport will let you do, is a really cool thing, because that alone made me feel a lot better about flying in general, even just on regular commercial flights, because you don't feel terrified every time you see something, feel something. Like, it's normal for these things to be happening. And believe it or not, like the plane actually, there are things you have to do while taxiing to make sure the plane doesn't get lifted off the ground, because when you're flying, you feel scared that like this thing's just gonna fall out of the sky. When you're on the ground, there's all the stuff you have to do to keep the plane from going up into the sky, because it actually wants to go up, which is pretty cool. So now I'm very sweaty and hungry, so I'm gonna go take care of those things. I need to refuel as the plane gets refueled.